portraits are sketched on the floor. Girls selling orchids, 1 penny for 4. Soon there's a crowd at the caravan door of the concertina ballerina. Dressed in white satin with ribbon and lace, wearing the mask, she is hiding her face, dancing in time to a concertina. Harlequin knows he'd be lost without her. He was the star of this traveling fair till the concertina ballerina. How can he tell her she stole his heart? Born without speaking, tears him apart. Harlequin dances alone on a stage. Minstrel is playing to lions in the cage. Pictures and portraits are sketched on the floor. Shows selling orchids, 1 penny for 4. So there's a crowd at the caravan door of the concertina ballerina.
Hello my friends, how are you? Welcome to the 10th live stream. 10th, can you believe that? Forgive the instructions on the back of my notes. As you can see, I still haven't figured out how to work this bloody stuff. Right, so I want to welcome, before we do anything else, the 2,000 plus new subscribers this month. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'll tell you in a sec what we're going to be talking about. First of all, the live streams, for those new to this, it's all about you. As you know, I put tutorials up, videos up on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and lots of people contact me in between them saying, how do you do this, how do you do that? And I try to answer as many questions as I can, but there's a lot of them. But this is your opportunity when you watch these things to be able to ask me in real time, you know, any problems that you may have based on what we've done over the last month, or any videos really. Today, you know, and the point is, if you ask me the question, and I'll do my best now, right now, to help fix them. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So have a little think about anything you might want to ask me. We're going to look at, tonight we're going to talk particularly about one thing that bothers everybody. How do you change chords smoothly? How can you get from one chord to another without ballsing it up, without making a mess of it? Okay, there's a trick to it. And there is a trick to it. And you'll never find the answer to it in the book. And you'll never find most tutors mentioning it, because it's a trick that they don't realise they're doing half the time. And I didn't realise I was doing it. It's only when you sort of really have to analyse it and people ask you a question, you think, hang on a minute, how do I do that? And then it becomes apparent. So we'll look at that. So look out for that trick. We'll get to that in a minute. We're also going to look at the 5 faces of chords, right? 5 faces of chords. I can hear you saying, chords do not have faces. Well, guess what? They do. They have different faces. I'm going to be going into that. I've done a video on that a while ago, some time ago, but we'll discuss that. It's really important, actually, joking aside, really, really important. Okay, we'll discuss what all that is about shortly. And then we're going to look at this for you, some of you older chaps and chapesses. is this book here. Now, I did a little review on this a few years ago. I got into a bit of trouble over it, actually. Well, not trouble, but I must have ruffled a few feathers, you know, because I have a problem with it. You know, not with the guitar player, Bert Whedon, who's great, as I did actually mention that. But I had a few issues with this particular here journal, all right? Which I'm going to tell you why, what my issues about this were. So we'll get into that and all. And also, for those of you who contact me asking about ukulele, because I usually do a little bit on the ukulele, you know, a lot of guitar players, especially the older players who you know, struggle with the fingers a little bit, they want to be able to play something, but guitar might be a little bit tricky for them. Ukulele is a perfect instrument to step over to, you know, if you're struggling, and it's related to the guitar in many ways, and some of you may know what that is, many of you may not, so I'm going to show you very quickly and briefly what that is. So if you play guitar and you're interested in swapping over to ukulele, it's easier to get in the back of the car as well, isn't it? You haven't got to start humping it around on a, you know, it's nice and easy to carry around. Great party piece for ukulele. All right, but before we do any of that, please hit the like button, which is the thumbs up thing. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And remember that everything on the channel, everything I do, is 100% free. So all the downloads that you see with the videos, all that sort of stuff, just click on the blue links that's usually below them, and share the hell out of them. I own them all, so you can do what you want. I'm giving you my permission right now to share what you like. Okay, so please do that. Now, there's a little button for those people who want to ask questions. There's a super chat button, and if you press it, those people who put a little donation towards the channel, which is very much appreciated, then their questions are highlighted, and I get, like there's a gentleman on here who's just said, well, it's Michael Green. Hi, Mike. Hey, Rob, it's great to be with you here today. Do you have any tips on singing and playing at the same time? You make it look effortless, but it's hard. I'll talk about that. Let me make a note, because I'm one of these people that if I don't write something down, I'll forget. So, Mike, let me just... It's a memory situation. So, playing and singing. Mike Green. Okay, I'll do. There we go. That's going to be the first thing we discuss. Thank you for the question, Michael, and thank you for the donation to the channel. So thank you for that. If you want to donate, there's a little $ down below. Just click on that, and you can make a donation to the channel. It pays for the tea and the coffee and everything else, and the biscuits. Now I can afford biscuits thanks to you. It's great. But as you can see, I do put quite a bit of time in. I love doing this, and I'm also going to be asking you. In fact, I'll ask you now. I've been working on these. These are some new ones that I've been doing, and I'm not sure which one I should put up first. So maybe you could help me decide. We can either do Jack and Diane, which is by John Mellencamp. There's that one, which is ready to go. Or we could do Stephanie, which is a beautiful instrumental by Lindsay Buckingham. You've heard me doing a demo with that. We could have a look at that one. That's a great one just for guitar playing. You know, and it's not as difficult as you think. That people think because it's Lindsay Buckingham, it must be really hard. Well, you'll be surprised, you know. We've got one for classical players out there called Prelude number 11 in D major. That's a lovely piece, very short, beautiful piece by Tarrega. So we could do that one. It's a grade 3, grade 4 classical piece. It's not that hard, but it's absolutely gorgeous. We can do Life on Mars by Mr. David Bowie, of course. We've got that one ready to go. And also we've got this one. I know it's been done quite a lot of times on YouTube, as you'll all know, but not like this in my idiot-proof way of doing things. This is another Simon and Garfunkel track, mainly aimed at sort of people who are just starting off. Sound of Silence, of course, the most beautiful song by Simon and Garfunkel, and really simple to play, because most, as you've heard me say before, most great songs are very simple, all right, because we are simple folk, and things that are too complicated goes over our head, including melodies. That's why overcomplicated guitar solos are a bit hard to get your head around. It's good like a physical thing, but it's not particularly pleasing to the ear most of the time. Right, so let's have a look. What else have we got? The session, how long is it going to last? Well, that's going to be up to you lot. I normally go for about an hour and a half, depending on the questions that you ask and how much fun we're having. As soon as you start disappearing, then it'll be time to finish watching Harry Potter, which is on right now. So while you're writing your questions out, what I'm going to do is let's have a look at what we've done in the last month. The first one we did, we looked at a thing on how to avoid bar chords, which was all to do with the caged system. Now when I first heard that thing, because I'm not a big theory person, I'm crap at theory, but I know enough. I say I'm crap, I'm not really, but because I know enough to be able to understand how to play the guitar and what key I'm in. And I think that's really all you need to know, unless you want to write a book on it, you know. But how many people do you know? How many of the greats, you know, have learned how to what they do from reading a book? None of them. Which is going to bring me back to that Playing Today book in a minute. So the cage system. What does it mean, caged? Well, it's referring to C, the shape C, A, G, E, and D. Caged. What is it? C, A, G, E, D. I forgot how to spell it then. It's not good. And what does it mean? Well, it basically means, say you've got a, for example, I won't go into too much detail, but say you've got a song that's got an A, it's in A, you know that one, you've learned how to play A, you're thrashing away, and then all of a sudden, as is quite often the case, you'll come across an F sharp minor, which is a bar chord, and a nasty one if you're not used to playing bar chords. And let's be honest folks, none of us like to play bar chords when we first start learning to play guitar. I certainly didn't. So we got a nasty bar chord, and it's in A, and you think, well, there goes my fun that I was going to have at the gig tonight. I can't perform that song because I don't know how to play F sharp minor. Well, what you can do, if you use the cage system, you can say, well, what chords are easy? What do you know? Well, I know how to play G, and I know how to play E minor. They're dead easy. I know how to do them. So the whole idea of the cage system, I say, well, you can now play A and F sharp minor just by using those two shapes. However, you need the use of one of these. Okay, so let me explain. If you know the chord G, but we want to turn that into an A, right? There's a lesson on this, so go and have a look at it. It's about the cage system. This is a little brief overview. There's our G. Our root note for G, our bass note, is here. Okay, so G major. If I wanted to move it up one fret or take it to do a G sharp, which means higher, I would do this. But that means I'd have to take this with it that looks after all the open strings. So I'd have to do that, which is hard, you know. And if I wanted to move it up again to make it an A, I would have to do that. Move it up there and put my finger here to take care of all the open strings. But that's worse than playing a bar. Well, it is a bar chord, isn't it? So I would put a cap on at that particular fret, like this. Where are we? Second fret. And that G shape, as it was here, is now an A. And the E minor shape is now the F sharp. All right. So that's what the cage system is about, and that's the way you can avoid bar chords. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. All right. Especially if you're playing in keys like A and D, because you always bump into like F sharp minors and B minors, and until you've got your head around them, it's a shame that those particular chords can spoil an otherwise good performance. So it's always good to know that. Well worth knowing anyway. Okay, so we did that one. Then we did what was the other one we did? Benny and the Jets. We did that by Elton John, which was quite unique really, because as you know, it's a piano based song, but I thought, what the hell, let's do it on a guitar, because Elton John is wonderful. Andy W, thank you Andy for the £5 donation to the channel. Is that a little guitar I've got there? Thanks mate, appreciate it. Oh yeah, there's a little thing. Any tips on triads please Rob? I'm trying to learn Give a Little Bit by Supertramp. Oh come on, watch this. Now you start talking about triads, I might think you're talking about a bicycle. Alright, I'm not into all this stuff. Give a little bit, let's look at what it is, shall we? A7th, can you play an A7th, Andy? There's an A7th, nice easy one. See that? A7th. And I want you to do this. Down, up, down, and then move this finger along and make a D. And go down, up, down again. Okay? So go. Then, do you know how to play a G? Of course you do. Do it down, up, down on the G. and then to your A7th. Start again. Give a little bit of my life to you, etc. Okay, A7th, D, G. Easy. So don't worry about all the triady, this, that and the other. It's good to know all that if you want. Just learn how to play the guitar. Da-ga da, da-ga dam, da-ga da, da-ga dam, da-da dam, ba-ba-dam, ba-ba-dam, da-ga dam, etc. Alright? So, we did that one. So thank you for that. So Andy, there we are. We've got that one sorted out. What else have we got? We'll get down to those others in a minute. What's this? Would you consider doing a lesson on the interval root thirds? I don't even know what that means. I'm not a technical guy. If you give us an example of what you mean, do a Morrissey song. What's that off? The Smiths. Can't remember the name of the song. Come on, help me. I know that one. That's the nearest I can do, Stu, for the Smiths one. What's this? Hi Rob, looking good tonight. Actually, I'm getting old, but there you go. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Hi Rob, can you teach me to play George Harrison solo in something? I can. I can't do it on here now, but if I do private lessons for all that stuff. If you contact me privately, then and either join me online, which I teach all over the world now, Australia, America, France, you name it, then I'll teach you to play whatever you like. It doesn't matter what it is, but yet I can. It's not as difficult. It's a great, best solo they ever did. Beautiful solo. So we got somebody so Jack and Diane has come in for the first vote, because I did ask you before which one would you like. So Jack and Diane, let me just see. See, when I have to learn these things, I write these things out for myself, and if I wanted to play that now, for example, I wouldn't have a clue. So I'm going to have a look at my own stuff. Hold on, bear with me. This is my idiot-proof thing, and this is how I learn my stuff. So it's got here. Let me just check it out. I'm at the 5th fret. Hang on, get it right, Rob, you fool. Where are you? So it's. Where does it go? So it's and then goes to another page. See, but it's here. I'll have to look at it. I have to learn from these as well. You're not the only one. You're not alone. This is why I do them. All right, Jack and Diane. We'll have a go at that. Let me learn it first. Somebody else asked me. I've got something else here, and I promised I would read it out. Bear with me. Another scrap of paper. Eric Miller emailed me. He may be with us tonight, or he might be working, because the clocks went back, so it's messed things up a little bit. He was asking me about practicing, and he was talking about, he can do either every breath you take, feeling groovy, Blackbird. He's basically asking the best way to practice, And what I tend to do, say I was going to learn to play, I was learning Eric, say I was learning Blackbird, for example, I wouldn't try and work my way through the whole song. I'd work it in bits. So I'd go, and I'd just get that. But before I did that, I'd get the pick right, which everybody gets wrong. Don't take my word for it. Ask Paul McCartney. Now I know I've got it right. So there we are. So you get the pick right, because if you don't get the pick right, it's all wrong. There's the lovely Lynn has just walked in, folks. Lynn, who scribbles out the hello everyone. So Lynn is responsible for this working. It's certainly not me. After 10 months, I still don't know which button to press. So just before it starts, I say, which one do I do? And she has to scribble, but she scribbled on the back of my notes here. So thank you, Lynn. I'm hopeless, honest to God.
Apparently the Smiths song is What Difference Does It Make?
Oh, is it? See, I don't even know I know how to play them, but I don't know what they are. Who did it?
Smiths.
No one knew the Smiths. I mean, no one's asking me the question.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there were two
You know.
two people who actually gave.
Oh, was
the
it
answer.
what difference does it make? Okay, okay. Any chance? What's the other one? Streets of London.
Streets of London and the Gambler, Johnny.
Who did the Gambler? Who did the Gambler? I thought that was Kenny Rogers.
Might be. Don't know.
It's got Johnny written on. Oh, is it Johnny asking the question?
John O'Connor.
Oh, sorry, John. I thought that was the guy. I was thinking, who did the Gambler? Johnny.
And
Um,
Thank you.
Hall of Notes. Oh yeah, great Hall of Notes. I don't know many of their songs because it's very keyboardy. Is it our Sue? I'll have a look at that, Sue. Hall of Notes. We'll see what we can do. The only one I know of Kenny is it Street to London. Well, we did a bit of that last week, didn't we? It's gorgeous, that one. I won't play it all. I'll play you the pick. Now remember the Travis picking thing that we did. It's that. So again, I can do all these lessons. You know, if I do these privately, I might do that as a tutorial. I do the ones that people will be most interested, because clearly, I mean, that one I'm hopeful that do you know that one in America, Streets of London by Ralph McTell? Brilliant record, beautiful song, very, very famous over here in the UK. Not sure about America, so if you want me to do it, let me know, and I certainly will, you know, not a problem. What else have we got? Sound of Silence, somebody's asked for. That is a good one. Let me show you something on Sound of Silence while we're at it. For those people that think these things are ridiculously hard, let me just find the right one. Hang on. See, once again, where have I put it? I've just had the damn thing. Bear with me. There we go, got it. So, Sound of Silence. Now, I've just been fiddling with this. If you look at this, it's got a chord here. It says A sus2, and you think, oh, please God, I thought you said it was going to be easy. Well, if I put this capo at the 6th fret, okay, I'm referring to the shape. If you know how to play A minor, right, and take that finger off, that is, you know, shape is called an A sus2. Don't ask me why, it just is. Alright, somebody cleverer than I will tell you the theory as to why that is. I don't know, and I don't care. All I know is that's what the shape is, and that's what you use to play this particular song. Now with your thumb, you don't even need all your fingers to do this one. All I'm going to do, pick wise, I'm going to go, without anything on this hand, I'm going to go 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. That's all I'm going to do. Now clearly it's not Sound of Silence yet because I haven't got this hand on, but again, layers, think of what this hand's going to do to start with. And I'll put my chord on, okay? Here we are, 6th fret, capo. Here we go, you can hear it already, can't you? Hello darkness my old friend, then to the G. I've come to talk with you, and so on. Okay, so it's thumb and one finger. Where are we? Thumb and one finger. Now, another one that you should have done of theirs, which I did some time ago, which I prefer as a song and certainly as a guitar piece. I'm going to do it again actually, because I've had loads more subscribers since I first did it. Is this one? You'll know it. All you Simon and Garfunkel heads will know it. It's beautiful, beautiful tune. Now look at the shapes. All I'm going to do, I'm going to play a C shape like this. Okay, so this is a beginner's lesson, a beginner song this, and I'm going to use my thumb and one finger to play it. All right, thumb and one finger, and I'm going to play this shape here, and I'm going to sort of move these fingers. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going anywhere else outside these frets like this. All right. Now watch this. I'm going to put. That's the shape I'm going to start with. All right. And these fingers are going to go on and off like this. So if you can put two fingers like that and move these fingers on and off like that, which you would practice before you even played it, then you'll be able to play this particular tune. Ready? Time it was, and what a time it was, a time of innocence, a time of confidences. Long ago it must be, I have a photograph. Preserve your memory. They're all that's left you. Isn't that beautiful? Just as a guitar piece. It's a C. Where's it go? I'm looking at the screen. But it's just C, the shape C going. And just playing the strings in pairs. Okay, that's all that is, you know. And of course the beautiful lyric and melody thrown over the top. So anyway, we digress. What else did we do last time? We did Here Comes the Sun. Again, thinking about the cage system, alright? I'm using a D shape, a G shape, and an A7, the A7 being the one that we did for Give a Little Bit before. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. We did that one. Little potted version there, folks. So we did that one, we looked at that, that was cool. We also did Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. Now I haven't got a guitar tuned to the open G tuning with me, but that proved to be a successful one, like Romeo and Juliet. Great song by Mark Knopfler. And then I did one about the big mistakes that everybody makes, you know, 10 massive mistakes and how to fix them. You know, mistakes, stupid mistakes like, you know, not using the tips of your fingers to play chords like this, you know, that's one big mistake. You know, you have to think of your fingers as like ballet dancers' toes, where you use the tips of your fingers like that. Not like this, you know, like that. Okay, so the other strings can run under. Making sure your nails are nice and short. Making sure your fingers are really close to the frets, not there in the middle, so they buzz right next to the wire, to the fret. You get a really crisp, clean sound. Okay, when you're strumming, don't hold your pleck too tight. You know, keep it nice. She's flitted in again there. you know, keep the pleck. You know, use a pleck that's about 0.73. Don't go for these big, heavy, fancy plecks you see on the internet with bits of rubber stuck on them. They're rubbish. Use something nice and straightforward. You know, like this. And then when you're doing it, you know, keep your hand fanned out like this and steady. Okay, steady. Okay, now. When you're learning how to strum, this is nothing everyone cocks up. They automatically assume that there were hundreds of different strumming patterns. Well, and there aren't. There's really only two. You know. Now, for example, if I was to do, look at my hand. Okay, it's just going down and up, isn't it? Here are the different rhythmic patterns, still with the same movement. I'm just choosing to pull out different beats. I'm not changing the direction of my hand as I do it. So for example, a straight rhythm, if it was going to play an Eagles song, okay, that's a, you know, sort of quite a driving rhythm, you know, similar rhythm, but you know, something like that, you know, hands still moving exactly the same way, something like this. Stuck in the Middle with You, like by Steelers Wheel and Jerry Rafferty. Now this is more of a shuffle rhythm. What does a shuffle rhythm mean? Well, instead of going, which is straight, it's more like a sort of swingy rhythm, like a cowboy. Well, she's my woman of gold, and she's not very old. Well, she's my woman of gold, and she's not very old. Shuffle. You can almost see him on the horse. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, but with that very same rhythm, you can do things like. Passenger, when I ride through the city tonight. Iggy Pop, what a beautiful song that is, eh? Brilliant. Now that rhythm, most people when they approach that would go, which is wrong. Of course it's wrong. What you do is get your rhythm going, and then now the trick is missing the downbeat. You know, miss up down up, miss up down up, miss up down up, miss up down up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and miss up. So miss up down up, and that's the trick with a lot of those things. It's missing different beats out. Some of them are quite tricky. When you know what it is, pretty straightforward. And another one with that little weird entry note. Is the one I did last, which was Mrs. Robinson by Simon and Garfunkel. Now again, this is capoed at the 2nd fret, but I'm going to use one shape here. Use the E shape. And it'd start the riff, which a lot of people will know. I don't know anyone that really plays it when they do this song, which they should, probably because they think it's too hard, but hopefully the tutorial I did the other day for it will alleviate, is that the right word, those fears. It goes like this. Oops. And the chorus and so on. But the riff. Now most people, if they play a riff, you have to forgive me itching. I've got a bloody itch tonight and I don't know why. Must be allergic to something in this room. It doesn't start on beat 1. You'd be forgiven to think it went 1. It doesn't. If you were going to count this in with the band, and this is where everybody cocks it up, but you won't now because I'm going to tell you the secret of this one. 1 and it starts on the and after the 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. So that was the one that we did last. That was Mrs. Robinson, which is a great song. Great live number to do. Can you go to Where Do You Go To, My Lovely Peter Sarstedt? I had a really embarrassing thing with Mr. Sarstedt once. I was at I might have told you this story before. I was at a charity do with a lady called Mary McNally, who's the wife of John McNally from the Searchers, the band The Searchers, Needles and Pins, all that stuff. And it was her birthday party, and I'd been invited to play. And there was a fella on the stage before us going on, and he was tuning his guitar in, or as I thought, attempting to tune it in. And I said to Mary, do you think I should go up and help him out and tune his thing, And she said, oh, he'll be all right. He knows what he's doing. And I said, he doesn't look like, and then he started playing, Where Do You Go To, My Lovely, he went on. And I said, he's not doing a bad job of that, is he, actually, really? And she said, well, that's Peter Sarstedt. And I said, so what? She said, well, he wrote it. Because I didn't know who Peter Sarstedt was, but I certainly knew the song. So I felt rather embarrassed about that. So when you asked me to do that song, It always brings back that memory. How's it go? Let me just think. It's in threes. Where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? Tell me the thoughts that surround you. I want to look inside your head. No, it's not in that key. How do I know? Because there's a rundown. Okay. Where do you go to, my lovely? So that's too low, so I would go, okay, I'm getting there. So I'd go, I can't do it in that key. Where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? Tell me the thoughts that surround you. I want to look inside your hair, yes I do. Let's dancing. And your clothes are all made by and your diamonds in your hair yourself. Now I reckon Peter Starster nicked that run from hey, you've got to hide your lovely way. You've got to hide your lovely way. He nicked it, didn't he? How can I even try? I can never win. Where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? Tell me the thoughts that surround you. I want to look inside your hair, yes I do. Hey, you've got to segue. Come on, segue. Mash up. I'm getting down with the kids. What? Billy. Cheers, Bill. Hiya, Mark. Oh, Mark. Hi, Uncle Rob. Mark, you make me feel old here with this Uncle Lark. What's this? So let's have a look at what we got. Yeah, I did In the Ghetto. Jeff, I did that one.
You did. You enjoyed it.
I've done it. Oh, you've seen that one. Tennessee Whiskey. I should know that, shouldn't I? I don't know it off the top of my head.
And the top one.
What is the top one here?
Tommy Mason.
Yeah, Tom.
He's got.
What would you reckon? What gauge strings on it? Good question,
He's got tens,
Tommy.
but he's wondering whether he should get 8 or 9.
I think 9s. What has he got? What have you got at the moment, Tom? 8s. I put 9s on it. 8s are good. It depends what you're doing. If you're playing, a lot of bendy leady stuff, 8s are all right. Say again.
He's got 10s on at the moment.
On electric.
On his electric.
No, 10s on electrics are very heavy. It's good if you're doing sort of rhythmic stuff. Like Keith Richards. You're not really bending the strings that much, but 10s are quite heavy. I would use a 9s or an 8. I have 9s on electric, but I might use 8 actually on some of them. Depends on what track I'm going to try and play. That's the key. It depends what I'm going to try and play. Listen, I've got to thank you for sending these donations, by the way. For those people that missed the thing, if you want to donate to the channel, there's a little $sign at the bottom of the thing where you can your questions are then highlighted, and I get to see them. And Lynn, very kindly, without you seeing it, she writes them down because and brings them up to me. So for those people who want the questions highlighting and I see it first, there's a little $1 thing, and it's what's it called? It's what's her name? It's a super chat button, and there's also a super thanks one, which just says thanks, where you can donate for the. It pays for the tea and the coffee, folks. You know what I mean? That's all. But everything's free, so you don't have to do it. But it's appreciated if you do. Or buy an album. That's go to robfenner.com, but you can see at the bottom there, like that song that you heard at the beginning, Concertina Ballerina. It's on albums like this, because I've done 10 different albums, loads of different things. So just buy one of the albums if you want, and let's get something for your money, Right, thanks John for the $5 there, John Hubbard. Thank you for that, John. Now let's have a listen. Let's have a look. Let me just explain something to you. I told you I was going to look at this. What should we do first? Let's look at the 5 faces of chords. People have been saying, what's the 5? What do you mean? What are you on about? Chords don't have faces. And I say they do. Chords have faces. They have all sorts of different faces. Let's look at the chord A for a minute. I'll do all the different faces of A. Just for the hell of it. Right, we've got a major chord. You see that? A major. Now major chords, it's quite uplifting, isn't it? It's a happy sound. Hey, no school in the morning. Happy, that's the face. This is the face of a happy chord. A major chord. I haven't got a bad tooth. I'm eating a vocal zone. So if it slides down and you see something black, it's a vocal zone that I've got. What's a vocal zone? It's one of these little black things. Alright, because I've got a bit of a sore throat. So if you see it here, my teeth aren't going bad. It's a vocal zone. Right? Let's just get that perfectly straight before we go any further. And also, before we go any further, it's bonfire night round here. Or it is on November the 5th, but today's Saturday, and a lot of the kids, and I live near the beach, just down the road, near a place called New Brighton, and there's all sorts of firework displays going on. So before any of you, if you hear any pops and bangs, then let me assure you that it is not flatulence coming from my chair, alright, or beneath my chair. It's the pops and bangs coming from the firework display outside the room, alright? I just wanted to clear that up before we go any further, alright? So if you hear anything untoward, it ain't me, alright? Back to the faces. Happy face. Major chord. Minor chords. They're sad. Who lives this all? Sad chords, minor chords. A minor seventh. A minor seventh's bit halfway house. Sort of, you know, you don't really know whether you're sad or what with that one. A seventh chord. Now I always imagine seventh chords, again I'm going to play an A, so I always imagine these to be like a bit of a sneaky chord, you know, like, I know what you're up to, don't think you can pull the wool over my eyes. You know, it's got a snidey quality to a seventh chord. Suspicious, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a suspicious sounding chord. Okay. A minor ninth. It's like an A minor. Now this is a chord that I use a lot. I used it on that song you heard at the beginning, the Concertina Ballerina song. I use it in that. Ooh, it's mysterious, isn't it? It's creepy. The clown under the bed. Okay. I use those chords all the time. They're weird. They, you know, scary. And then of course you've got the Lynn's coming for this one. You've got the major seventh. Now I always find the major seventh I think Lynn would agree with me. Yeah. It's a vacant type chord, you know, sort of.
We do that one.
No, it is. You know, the person that gets on the bus, right, and even though every other seat on the bus is unoccupied, they'll sit next to you. It's that, you know, and they sort of, there's nothing wrong with them, but they just look a bit gormless, you know. It's a, I'm trying to do the face here. It's that, you know, slightly, you know, it's happy, minor, sad, creepy, you know, and then you got that one. That's sort of, it's got a slight, is it whimsical to that? I think that's better. What you think?
Yeah.
That one. Which of those faces you at now?
The last one.
The last one. It's going to be funny. Fuck's sake. Yeah, anyway, what have we got here? So anyway, we look. They're the 5 faces. Now, why are the 5 faces important? Well, if you're writing a song and you want to do a happy song, then you'd play something in a major key. If it's a sad song, you'd play in a minor key. If it's a mysterious song, you know, like Tales from the Unexpected. If it's sort of like a rock and roll sort of attitude song, you're so sweet fine. I want you all and everything just to be mine, 'cause you're my baby. Yes, you're my love. Cheapster. It's got the seventh, big seventh chord, very rock and roll chord. And then if you're going to do like a whimsical song, you choose your major seventh. I use major sevenths all the time. They're beautiful chords. Gorgeous chords, major sevenths. Okay, but anyway, to me they all have faces. And when you're writing songs for, we did a lot of stuff, me and my brother Al, for telly, and we'd get like we'd get a brief, and the brief would be usually quite it would be brief. You know, you get a sentence, or if you were lucky, a paragraph to explain what the particular program was about, and you had to then write a piece of music based on that little short synopsis. You know, so the five faces, with all joking apart, really important. And also, music is a mood thing. You know, it's like, say for example, I'll show you something. Say classical players. Hang on. They always use the major to minor trick. You know, they sort of, for example, they'll play something like C major. So all I'm doing is playing the chord E, really. B seventh. See, it's upbeat, isn't it? It's called Lagrima, and then it's Terega sort of, you know, expressing his. I think he was thinking of home or something. And he was thinking, and all that sort of stuff. And then when he realises that he's not at home, he's actually in some dump somewhere. It goes into a minor key, and it all takes on a, you know, very sort of sinister, sad, melancholic feel. So from happy to minor. Now that's a trick that classical music is used in all the time, and pop music as well. Let me show you a great example of pop music using the same similar chords. So I'm going to go from a major chord, like an A major, a happy chord, to a minor chord, sad. Let's look at a song. You'll all know this, or you older ones will know it. You know, if you break my heart, I'll go, but I'll be back again. Okay, so it's the Beatles, I'll Be Back. Tales of the Riverbank. I'll do that in a minute. I can do that.
That goes up and down.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Are you just making it up?
Yeah, higher.
I'll Be Back. Right, so the lyric of I'll Be Back to minor key. Lynn, remind me not to eat chips before I do my next live stream, will you? It's repeating on me really severely. I think I'll need another cup of tea that the good folks have paid for. Let's have a look. So the lyric of I'll Be Back. You know, if you break my heart, I'll go. You know, A minor. If you break my heart, I'll go, but I'll be back again. To the major, because he's going to come back. Because I'm major chord. I told you once before goodbye, but I came back again. He's back. Hey, so major to minor. Major, minor, major, minor. If you break my heart, I'll go, but I'll be back again. 'Cause I told you once before goodbye, but I came back again. Okay, that's that's the trick, the major to minor trick, and it's in everything. It's in all classical music and a lot of pop music as well. And it's one of those things that they throw in there, and even though you might not have any musical knowledge, you will hear the emotion in the music. This is the great thing about music. It doesn't, you know, when they say music has got a universal language, well, it has, because it touches the emotion without you even knowing why, and you don't have to know why. It just does. And I've just given you one example of how they do it, of how they work it. You know, that was two faces of chords, wasn't it? It was a happy chord and a sad one, and the lyric and the chords combined, you know, subliminally, they tell you how to feel, don't they? All right, so it's all very clever, really, when you think about it. So we've had a look at the 5 faces of chords. Now let's have a look at this. I got into a bit of hot water over this because I was doing I did a review of it, and I wasn't meaning to be funny. Now, all you guys out there, and girls, a lot of female players as well, of course, but I don't know, most of the people that read this, the only people I know were fellas, you know. Playing a Day. It came out, it's an old book. It was somebody gave it to me a few years ago, 5 shillings. And I remember it because I think my dad had this book because my father taught me how to play, you know, and I've still got my dad. I'm really lucky, you know. He's nearly 90 and he's still around, you know. And he taught me how to play, and I think when I look through some of the songs in this, I'm sure it was him that sort of, I'm sure he got his some of the stuff from this thing, you know, which is why he ended up being an electrical engineer instead of a musician. All right, there's a reason why he didn't end up doing music. All right, we'll get to that. So anyway, Playing a Day. This fella, a gentleman called Bert Weedon, a very influential player in the late 50s. And joking aside, he did a thing called the, so I'm going to start with a positive. He did a thing called the guitar boogie, which sort of went. So he inspired me without indirectly. He used to do things like that was what he sort of did. He was known for that guitar boogie shuffle type thing, you know. It was around the same time as skiffle. In fact, one of my most popular videos, to give the man credit, was the mother of all riffs, and the riff that I'm referring to is that guitar boogie riff. Now, Bert Weedon didn't think it up. It came from America. It came from the USA with the rock and roll and Bill Haley and all that stuff, and Elvis Presley. But you know, over here in the UK, Bert Weedon did that guitar boogie shuffle, which was an instrumental, and it was a big hit over here. So you know, he influenced a lot of players. So it's called Playing a Day, and it's the Bert Weedon's Guitar Guide to Modern Playing the Guitar. So I remember this book for you know, for not particularly all the right reasons, and I did do a review on it. So the thing about it is, now there's some useful stuff in it to start with. It shows you stuff about, you know, the left hand. Can you see it? Where are we? You know, and how to hold a plectrum, which is all good. There's nothing wrong with all that. Right hand, very important. How to tune the guitar. Now, in those days, they didn't have guitar tuners like we have now, so you do it on a piano. Now, this is assuming you had a piano, of course, but you know, it explains the various notes. Now, at that point where you saw piano things, I'd be going, you know, and then you get to the first. Now, this first song did me in. This was the one, you know, and you've heard me joking about it, but you know, look at it. This is the first song you learn to play. Where are we? Can you see it? There. See that? Bobby Shafto. Now, I remember when I was a kid, when I was playing at school, you know, if I'd have played that to my mates, you know, my mates were all into, like, you know, T-Rex and, you know, David Bowie, the New York Dolls and Roxy Music, you know. If I'd have played Bobby Shafto to them, my life wouldn't have been worth living. So, and, you know, if you look at the chords in it, it's C. Now, I wouldn't show one of my students C straight off because it's quite a tricky chord to play, you know. So this is the first chord you learn to play in this book, and it's not an easy chord to start with. C, D minor and G7, so, and then F. Now, by the time you got to F, and only a 4-string version of F, so consequently you'd do this, and it would sound crap. So I would look at this and think, well, you know, if the Bobby Shafto hadn't put me off, it would have been the first chord, C. So and then it gets to. Now don't forget this. Let's not forget the title of the book, Play in a Day. This is the bit that pisses me off. Right now, I see all this here, all that stuff. A day. Come on, and so it goes on. Exercises, and you know, it's all this stuff. No, there's no way I don't want to do that. You know, I want to play the bloody guitar here, you know. And then we got into, let's have a look at the next song. Now there was one song I thought was good. When the Saints Go Marching In, like that. I think you used to do that. You do, oh, when the Saints go, I quite like that one. It's alright. Frankie and Johnny. Now my mum, I used to learn to, I remember doing this for my mum. Frankie and Johnny were lovers. Oh Lordy, how they were loved. They said they'd be true to each other, just true as stars above. Da-dee-da-da. But then it's got a B flat in it, for God's sake. Who can play B flat when they first start playing? Hey, come on, it's not going to happen. Now, see, that would have put me off straight away. I said, well, if that's Play in a Day, if that's the first thing you're going to learn to play, then what's going to happen on day 2? You know, play an F and B flat in your first go. Forget it's not going to happen. You know. So then we got into skiffle rhythms. Of course, skiffle was the order of the day back then. Oh Christ! And then, you know, I remember doing this once. I must have been really naive. You know, don't ask me how to spell it. Cockles and muscles, for Christ's sake. You know. Now, if I, you know, again, with my bunch of mates, you know, cockles and muscles, you know. Oh, it says here. Oh, there it is. Cockles and muscles. If I was to have played that to my particular bunch of friends, I wouldn't have got to Alive Alive-O, because I would have been dead Edo. You know, there's no way I could have played that. Now, if you think about it, the chords C that are in it, C, G7 and D7, you know, you could have played a Dylan song with those. You know, you could have played something like how many roads must a man walk down? We could have done that. That would have been cool with the same 3 chords. No one wants to play cockles and muscles. All right? No way is that happening. And that was my issue with it. And I got into trouble, ticked off, because at Bert Whedon, I'm not having to go at him. And I mean that because Bert Whedon was a fine guitar player. And he certainly inspired a lot of players, including me, you know, through that guitar boogie shuffle thing that he did. My issue is probably this book here. I know how publishers work because I've been signed to bloody 5 or 6 of the biggest ones in the world in my time, alright? So I know how they work. And this title here, Play in a Day, would have been put together by them. They would have said, listen, Bert, we need a catchy title, mate. He wouldn't have thought of it. It would have been, and he probably would have said, well, hang on a minute, a bit Play in a Day. He would have known you can't do it. So for me, the only thing, you know, that 4/5 of the title is correct. But you know, 4/5 of the title is correct. But the only word that's missing is the word shit that should have been inserted between play and in, because in a day, that's the only thing that can happen. All right. So, Mr. Whedon, I've got the utmost respect for. The book title, however, is very, very misleading. All right. So there we are. So I had to review that, and I got into a bit of hot water over it, because as I say, you know, it did inspire a lot of people. But then again, that's all you had in those days. And I suppose if you got past C and B flat, then you know you must have had some tenacity about you in order to carry on with your musical career. Because I tell you what, if I'd have had that book and I'd have stuck with it, I would have given up, because there's no way I could have done that B flat stuff in a day. Right, let's have a look at what else we've got here. How do you get to the 9th chords? A 9th chord is like a splat chord. This is Daniel Sykes' 9th chord. I always refer to it as a splat chord. It's like, you know, one finger here, 3 fingers there, 1 finger across 3 strings there. It's great for sort of like, you know, like funk, James Brown, you know. chord. You know, you use them now and again. Good substitute. It's a good substitute for like a major. So say you're going to play like a rock and roll thing, instead of going from just like a straight A to a D, there's your A, thanks to Bert Whedon. See, that was a Bert Whedon type of thing, which he got from the States, of course. Instead of going to a D, do a ninth. It's a D ninth instead of a D. This is quite obvious, but a D ninth is more, it's a little bit more cool there. And then doing get into an E7. Ninth. Seventh. And so on and so on. I will, Mr. Nuttall. Well, I found a diary from 1983 earlier when I was teaching in Greasby, my old house in Greasby. And your name is in it. Yeah, I'll show you when I see you on next Friday. Thank you, Kurt, for your kind words. Who loves the lessons? Thank you for that. I love doing them, and I really do. You know, Arlene loves running up and down the stairs with bits of paper. Because I should be looking at these, shouldn't I? Yeah. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Those two.
Oh, I'll have to have a... Which one? These two? Oh, sorry, Frederick. Right, what have we got here? Reason to Believe. What's the Glen Campbell?
I think, did he write it?
Oh, I don't know. He might have done. What a great guitar player Glen Campbell has got. He's stunning player. This is off Joe. Found it, you know what? Looking for the riff in California Dreaming.
Figured out the opening.
I did that, didn't I? I did the whole thing for you. If you look at the, I did the riff for California Dreaming.
There's a couple of them.
No, you stay with me for a minute. Auntie Lily, I'll get a seat. Have you got one? I can't remember now. It's out of tune, this. That was the riff. But there's another guitar over the top of that when it goes. Just like two of them working. But that's the main one. Again, what do you notice about the chord? Is that Wonder Who? You know, they'll borrow off each other, don't they? Eh? I did California Dreaming. You'll find the riff. The paperwork, by the way, Joe. Just click the blue link below the videos. Now look, how many times have we got to say? If you can't find the link when you're looking at the vid, there's a thing that says more. Click the more button because there's a bit of blurb. I explain what the video is about. If you click that, and you'll see the link highlighted in blue. Click on that, and it'll take you to the thing, and just open it in Safari or one of those things, and there it'll just go bing and pop up. The riff, everything will be on there for you. All right. So there we are. So that's that one. What else have we got? Hang on. Let's have a look. Christmas is coming. Jeez. What about Elvis Blue Christmas? I don't know that one. You always pay great attention to detail. I think you've got to, you know, if you're doing stuff, it's the little things that really matter, you know. And the little things, you know, doing it right's easier than doing it wrong in my book. You know, honestly, it really is. People don't go on stage and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something that's that hard. I'm going to make a right fool of myself in front of all these people. They don't do that. What they do is, most players, we say, we're going to do something that's really easy, that sounds dead hard. Shouldn't have told you that, should I? You know, but that's the way it works. Because most of these things, you know, there's a trick to everything. Now, I wanted to show you the trick about changing chords, which I almost forgot about. Bear with me and we'll get into that because that's important for you beginners out there. Wild Thing is a good beginner song. Well, yeah. Why is it a good beginner? Because it's only got 3 chords in it. Wild Thing. That one. You know, What a great song that is. One of the ones I like is. I love that one. Can't remember the name of it. Johnny Depp in the desert, looking cool. Oh yeah, there's our Marcus here. Hi Marcus. Could you give me advice for playing in a band? Also, could you do Day in the Life on the guitar? Day in the Life, it's I don't know whether I can remember it. It might be in a weird key. Let me get another guitar. This guitar, I use this one. It's detuned, this. I read the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the grade. And though the news is rather sad, well, I just had to laugh. I saw the photograph. He blew his mind out in a car. He didn't notice that the lights had changed. A crowd of people stood and stared. They'd seen his face before. Nobody was really sure if he was from the House of Love. I love to turn you on. I woke up, etc. How's that for a bit of busking, Marcus? How's that for a bit of busking? I actually played that once in the Liverpool Philharmonic Hall with the orchestra, don't you know? Oh yes, it was a finale that we did when we were doing our music from our show Tuppence Across the Mersey, which was a big musical that my brother and I wrote and produced, which was a smash hit, don't you know? And the orchestra invited us to perform the songs from it at the wonderful Philharmonic Orchestra Hall, which we did. And after we'd done the played the stuff from the show, we had a bit of fun and played. Well, we did that one because we had the orchestra, didn't we? Fantastic, beautiful memory as well. Beautiful memory. So there you go. Marcus is one of my students, wonderful students, doing really, really well, really well. Okay, give you advice of playing in a band. Well, listen. When I was young, I used to be in a little band with my brother Al, who was only about 13, and my best mate John Kirkman, who's a good mate of mine, was today. Now Al was too young, and John, he was more into DJing, even though he played a bit of bass, and they used to get on my nerves really, I'll be honest with you, because I liked practicing and wanted to do stuff, and they were always talking about the Sgt. Pepper cover and all that, and I think I got on the nerves in a way, because I think I was overbearing, I wanted to do it, and they weren't as interested as me. So I ended up joining another group from a bunch of lads that lived in a place called Seacombe, which was about 5 or 6 miles from where I lived. So I didn't know them at all, you know. But that's what I had to do, and I ended up meeting all these lads on a Friday, and on Sunday they were already doing semi-professional work in the weekends because we were all still at school, of course. And I joined this little group, and they were like brothers, and we had a lot of hits, and we had a lot of success, and it was great. And that's how it happened. You've got to go and find your band. They won't find you. Okay, sometimes you can be lucky and you'll be with a bunch of mates who will be as dedicated as you are, but if they're not, don't try and take them with you. If they don't want to go, you're wasting your time, and all that'll happen is they'll just drag you back, and I mean that with the utmost respect, because John went on to be, what still is, a great DJ, and brother Al, when he got a bit older and a bit wiser, he realised what a wonderful business the music business was. And of course we've worked together now for over 40 years, but at the time he was still young, and he was too young to be in a band anyway. So but what a great percussionist he is, my brother Al. Don't tell him I said that though, will you? It's a secret. Okay, so Marcus, find a band and join it. Try and find one that's already going, and doing things, and make sure that they do, as well as doing covers, make sure they're into original music, because you won't get anywhere just singing other people's stuff. You'll make a little bit of money doing that, but if you want to make anything as in selling records, then you have to write. I only play guitar because I like writing stuff. In my head, I don't think of myself as a guitarist. I really, really don't. You know, I think of myself as a writer. I write things and I use the guitar in order to do it, and that's it. I don't sort of do it in any other way. Right, so what else have we got? Let's have a quick look. Go through, how do you get there? We've done the 9th chords, haven't we? How do you go about singing and playing together? Asked Michael Green. Well, what you do, I mean, you know, it's important this. I teach a lot of students and they have trouble remembering stuff, you know. Now, for example, say I was playing that song that I just did by the Beatles, which I haven't played for years. You know, I know the words because I can't play a song unless I know it. I've got to know it in my head before I can tell my hands what to do clearly. Okay? Now, it's like a symbiotic relationship between lyrics, words, and chords. The chords will prompt the word, and the word will prompt the chord, you know. I read the news. Boy. So when I say those particular words, then that will remind me of the chord and vice versa. You know, I read the news, boy, about, and so on. You know, and that's how you do it. You know, don't look at bits of paper. You know, if you can learn the initial lyrics from the paper, get rid of the paper as soon as possible. Because if you take the information in with paper and reading it, you will have to regurgitate the information, i.e. perform it live looking at the paper. And that looks really tacky and unprofessional, all right? You never see professionals like looking at bits of paper. You might see them looking at the guitar, top of the guitar to find out what song they're playing next, you know, or a prompt if it's a brand new song, you know, which we all do. But you'll never see them, you know, reading the bloody things off of things. So that's what you've got to do. So when you're playing, where are we? So that's how you learn to do it. And learn simple songs. Don't try and start off with anything too complicated. You know, for example, if I was going to learn how to play a simple song, I'd think of something. I wouldn't even do Horse with No Name, which is easy. I'd do something like Love Me Do. Okay. Because and I'm not going to use the G and the C like that, because if it's a beginner, I think it's too hard. I'm going to use a G and a C add 9. Okay, it's all love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please love me do. Oh. Love me do. And in the middle, someone who loves somebody new, someone who loves someone like you. There's only 3 chords in it, for God's sake. What a great song though, you know, brilliant. So I do something like that where the lyric is simple, it's repetitive, the chords are simple, and they're repetitive, and it gives you, you know, your right hand a chance to learn how to keep the rhythm going, and you learn simple things first, just as you would when you learn to read. You know, cast your mind back when you learn at school, you learn to read. You don't start off, you know, with all big words, you know, throughout. You start off with and. Remember Janet and John? Well, it's the same with anything you learn, any skill. It's all layers of information, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And when you hear a performer, a seasoned performer, you know, you're watching somebody that's putting lots of layers of information together all at once, and to you it looks like all one thing, which in fact which it is, but it's compiled of all these different things. Okay, now look at my 8 I've done 8 master classes. Now a lot of newcomers to the channel won't know of them, and I get ticked off a couple of times because if I repost them, people say, "Oh, I've seen that." Well, some of you have, and I appreciate that, but thousands and thousands of you haven't. So, you know, look back at the 8 master classes that I've done, because over Christmas, while it's a Christmas holiday, I'll probably repost them again for the you know, benefit of all you newbies. So you can see them, because it's quite tedious looking back at all the videos I've done, because there's hundreds of them literally, and it's hard, you know, you can get lost in them all. So you know, some of these questions are prompting me to think maybe I should put them up again. I'll have a look. What else have we got? Hang on. We've got. Can you do something with harmonic minor scales? I don't even know what that means. You know. In minor scales, you know. I mean, I know two scales really. I know your basic pentatonic scale, which is a major and a minor scale. I don't know whether you're aware of that. And the Aeolian scale, which is a minor scale. So minor scale, pentatonic. Now, if you wanted to play, say you only knew that scale, and say you're playing an A minor. It's a little trick. This is not a trick. Say I'm playing a song in A minor, a sad song, you know, and I'm the guitar player, and I only know the one scale, like the A minor scale, the pentatonic, and the compere of the gig said, well, it's very good that, but it's a bit sad. Can we play something a bit happier? I want something in A major. Well, that's a problem for you, isn't it? Because you think, well, I only know A minor scale, God's sake. I can't play a minor scale over a happy chord. That would sound really bad. However, if you look at this, watch this little trick. My first two notes, there's the A and there's the C. Or just think of it like this. Don't even think about the note. Think of the one, we're in A minor, so that's important, A. And then it's fret 5, and then this note here is a C. Okay? Not that it makes a difference, just remember the 8. Look at the pattern. If I put this finger here, now there, it's now a major scale of A major. I'm using the same pattern of notes as in, the same pattern, different notes, but that's how it works. Say I'm playing in B minor, I'll start on the B note here. It's very basic when I'm showing you this. Watch. How do we know it's B? Easy way to get your fretboard knowledge. Girls and boys, your 3 dots, okay? Don't worry about going working out. Girls and boys, G, A, B. Okay, so B. Where's B flat? One there. B, C. It's the easy way of doing it. So we're in B. Song in B minor. Just do the pentatonic for now. If somebody said it's in B major, well, there's our minor. I'm going to put my little finger now where this finger is here. So this is my major finger. So I'm going to go, I'm going to put that on the B note now, and I'm going to do all the notes that are behind it in exactly the same pattern. Okay, so think about it like this. That's the easiest way to remember it. I was going to say something else then, but it would only confuse you, so I'm not even going to do it. Now, if I was playing the Aeolian scale, all the Aeolian scale is the minor pentatonic, is the pentatonic in the minor key with a few more notes. So instead of going 5/8, I'd go 5/7/8. I'm adding on another note. Instead of going 5/7, I'm going to go 5/7/8, just a bit classier. Then the 4th string 5/7 as normal. Little shimmy to the left on this one to add our extra note. 4th fret, and then 5/7 again. Back to your 2nd string. Instead of going 5/8, I'm going to go 5/6/8, and then to your 1st string, instead of going 5/8, I'm going to go 5/7/8. And all those great solos, especially people like Brian May, that's based on that Aeolian scale. Now, if I wanted to use that in a major thing, I would do exactly the same thing. If I was in a major key and I only know the minor thing, I'd say, oh God, what am I going to do? I only know the one run the notes. I'd say, well, okay, hold on, what did he say? What did that fellow with the hat say? I'd say, well, he said that if I'm in a minor key, I'll put the finger there, start with this, but if it's major, he said, take the little finger and start the pattern in the same pattern, but sort of shift that down to the A note now. And then all these notes should fit with the A major. Oh, to the Aeolian. And it does. Okay, that's the Aeolian scale. That's the trick. And the sooner you get those little things in your head and forget about all the other stuff that can clutter your mind. Because when you're playing live, you ain't got time to think about all this other stuff that you might get out of a book. You don't think Pete Townsend or David Gilmour or all these greats are thinking about all this stuff, do you? They don't. I mean, David Gilmour's on record saying he doesn't even know scales. He goes, clearly I know how to play this, but I wouldn't know what they are. He just knows them because he's done them for so long. Rob, do you have any biscuits or scones for tea? I've had too many, John. Too many. That's rad, innit? I had rad. Yeah, that's why it's repeat. I had chips for tea. I had fish and chips. You know, I thought I'll have them early because I'm doing a live stream, and I wish I hadn't now, because they're repeating on me. What else have we got here? When I bought a guitar, I played in 2 days, Angie from the Stones, so it's possible. Yeah, good man. Well, that's what you want, innit? The Stones are great. Yeah. What about this one here? We should do this. Let me get this. Hang on. Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't run away. Remember this one? More drums. That's what you get for mentioning the Stones. They're great, aren't they? I'll have to do that again. Brown Sugar and the other one, Start Me Up. Great song. Now, why does Keith Richard have use open tuning? It's because he's got arthritis. Because his hands won't work anymore, but he can still play live. And he's, how old is he now? 80 odd. So come on, lads, girls. There's no excuse. Okay. I think he did the same. Oh, what's her name? Can't remember. I'll think of it in a minute. Who did Big Yellow Taxi? That singer. She's got all. Well, she had polio, so she couldn't move her hands as a kid. So she learned to use an open tuning. And Christ, what a wonderful song! My brain's dead. I can't think of what her name is. It's completely gone. Now let's have another look at what we've got here before we start wrapping it up. What other questions have we got? Let's have a look. Can you do Travis Pickett? If Romeo and Juliet, well, maybe start with Travis and then try and play Jolene or Dust in the Wind. Yeah, well, yes. I mean, all of those picks, you know, the Travis Pickett. We've talked about this, haven't we? All you got to think, pick any old chord you like, pick an A minor, and start in a very, very basic way. You know, and just and fingers like this, and just do this. 5 2 4 3 5 2 4 3. Think of outer, inner, outer, inner, outer. Outer, inner, outer, inner, outer. Why am I saying outer? Because they're outside the two middle strings. Inner, outer, outer, inner. And then C. Okay, why am I playing the same note if I'm playing a C? Well, that's the C bass note. Go to an E minor, I'll change to this bass note. Outer, inner, G. So when we've got that done, hang on a minute, just got a little note here. Is that Tony?
Tony Doubtfire.
Cheers Tony, thank you. Thanks for covering Mrs. Robinson. Thanks for the donation to the channel. Don't forget, folks, again, if those people want to make a donation to the Tea and Coffee Fund, there's a thanks button at the bottom, or a super thanks. How difficult is Sweet Child of Mine? It depends which bit you want to do. The chord wise for Sweet Child of Mine. Well, we're on it. Who asked this question?
That was.
Oh, Tony asked the question. Oh, all right, Tony. Before I do the Travis picking, as you very kindly made that donation, let's answer your particular question, shall we? So, Sweet Child of Mine. I'll use this guitar. It's a bit easier. It's not the right one. So, the rhythm guitar for Sweet Child of Mine is D, C add 9, G. Look at the strumming. And back to D. So Mr. Slash, he would have put that down first, and then over the top he would have done his. Oops. You need electro guitar. So it's easy. It's not hard, it just sounds hard. But what's great about it actually is the simplicity of the riff and the simplicity of his wonderful solo. Again, he's a great player because he keeps it nice and simple, you know. Doesn't overplay, doesn't overdo it. He plays a gorgeous tune. Right, where are we? Travis picking. So nice question that, Tony. I think I've done that, played it behind my head. If you go back, and I meant to try. I didn't do it to show off. Well, I did. But I did it to prove a point that these things that you think are hard, if I can play them behind my head, then the ones what have I got behind my head? I've done Sweet Child of Mine, Sweet Home Alabama, and bookends. I did bookends behind my head with an acoustic, just to show you that, or to prove that, if I can do them that way, then you can do them the normal way. All right. So there's a method in the madness. What else have we got here? Let's have a quick look. Bradley, unique style, really simplified stuff. I thought it was too complex. No, nothing's too complex. It's the jargon that's complicated, Bradley. Because some tutors out there, they like to complicate things to make them look cleverer than, like a lot of people, than they really are. Scientists are like that, aren't they? You get a lot of scientists. They sort of they sort of bamboozle you with a load of shit. When really just say what it is. How do you play a minor chord? Well, take that finger off. Well, what's the what? Just do it. It just sounds nice. You can always worry about, the whys and all the stuff. If you really want to know, I liken it to this. Like, I drive a car. We all can drive. Most of us drive a car, but I don't need to know the workings of the combustion engine, right, to go to the shops. And even if I did, it wouldn't get me there any faster. So I know it's like an ignorant way of thinking, but it's a practical way of thinking. When you're trying to perform, that's the thing. When you get a Formula One driver, he'll know a bit about the engine, but he won't. He won't know he won't know as much as the guys that make it go. All he needs to know is how fast he can make it go. And that's the same way with the way you've got to try and think about music, especially if you're performing. Now, of course, if you want to study it and go into the rudimentaries of it, it's great. But don't think it's going to help you that much playing. What might if you're doing jazz or classical, probably. But what else have we got here? Which one? This one's off. W Dubs. Thank you. Thanks for being you. That's nice, isn't it? Thanks for being you, friend who cares, and I do. Whom we've never met. Well, you've met me now, haven't you? Because I'm here all the time. I'm here twice a week for you, or any time if you want to ask me a question. It doesn't matter what it's about. Music, guitars, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. We always have fun. Anyone who comes round to my house when we do these stuff, we drink tea, we chat, we play guitar, we have fun. It's all about. Life's too short for all the shit. Just have the fun. We realise that as we get older, don't we? Alright, so thank you for that. What else have we got? Joni Mitchell, that's the lady, cause it's terrible, isn't it? Because when you forget something, the harder you try to remember it, the further away it goes. It's like when you try and remember a dream in the morning, even the great dream, you're going, and the harder you try and think of what it was, the quicker it leaves your brain. Alright, so let's look at this Travis picking one more time. So we were looking at, just think of outer, inner, outer, inner, outer, inner, outer, inner. And you start off like that, and then you can alternate the bass notes. Now look at the Travis picking video I did for this, you know. And then when you've done that, there's little variations on a theme. Like let's look at now. The way I teach, you know, say like Dust in the Wind, which is a great song by Kansas, which my really good friend Kathy, French friend Kathy O'Brien, introduced me to years and years ago when we first met in 1984. She introduced me to some wonderful music that I'd never heard before, and one of them was this, and I thought, well, that's a nice guitar piece, because she was learning to play the guitar, and it was sorry, I busted nail. But it was Dust in the Wind by Kansas. Sorry about this. Ow. A nail. I'm sorry about that, it's crude, isn't it? But there you go, it happens. So, that's the Stones for you. So, now the way I teach that, let's forget about all the bullshit and all the stuff. What we need to do is, this is the pick, okay? Forget about the chord for a minute. The pick is this: 5 and 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4. 5 and 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4. That's it. Watch. And repeat it. 5 and 2. I've got these two fingers rested on here. I'm not using the first string. I'm going to keep them out of the way so they don't get in the way. Again, 5 and 2. 4, 3, 5, 2, 4. 5 and 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 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 4. Now I'm going to play the chord C. I'm going to play the nice simplified C like that. And I'm going to play what I've just done. 5 and 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4. Now I've got that finger on the only movement that's going to happen is on the second string. This finger is on the first fret, is it not? So I'm going to go, and I'm going to refer to that as 1, because I've told you the pick. So I'm going to go 1, and then if I said 0 or 0, I'm playing that string open. Same pick doesn't change. If I said 3, because of course I'm referring to the same string, I'll put that finger on the third fret. And if I said 1 again, I'll put that one there. So 1, 0, 3, 1. And A minor, same thing. But it's 0, open, 3, 1, 0. Back to C, 3, 1, 0, 3, A minor, 1, 0, 3, 1, and so on. So that's it. That's how you do it. Keep it simple, rather than say flat on the third. You know, I'm talking about the second string. Whatever it is. So that's a great one to do. Dust in the Wind. Alright, so what's this one? Let's just have a quick look. Right, we're going to wrap up in a minute. Now before we wrap up, quick thing. Ukulele. A lot of my chums, a lot of friends there, they want to get into playing one of these. But they think it's some alien instrument than from a guitar. Well, sorry, I've just banged the mic. Let me show you something. This is, some of you'll know this, so forgive me if I'm teaching my granny how to suck eggs. Cheers. What's that off? Late to the live stream, putting up different Christmas decorations for Thanksgiving. Anthony. Thanks, Anthony. Excellent. Anthony's been putting up Christmas decorations, right, in November for Thanksgiving. I didn't know you put Christmas decorations up for Thanksgiving. You know. There we are. What is it? Oh yeah, sorry. Hi, Robin Lynn. You never got round to telling the story about your dad in the engineer, or did I miss it? Oh yeah, well he ended up being you know, he was just learning this. He taught me how to play those songs, you know. The first thing I ever learned, I've just did the mic again, was on here. First song I ever learned to play on the ukulele, I was 5. It was this: red sails in the sunset, way out on the sea. Oh, carry my loved one home safely to me. And I was embarrassed about it until I realised that. What was the other one I did? There was that one, and there was a Beatles one. It wasn't Red Sails in the Sunset. There was another one they did. Len, she's gone. I'll think of it in a minute. But I learned to play that. And, yellow bird, way up in banana tree. You know, my mum, I can still hear her singing that in the kitchen, you know. I've still got my mum and all, I'm dead lucky. See, my dad taught me to play the guitar, but my mum would be the one that would sit down for months and practice these things with me and say, can you play this, can you play that? And I'd say no, and she'd go, oh, go on. So I'd have to learn them for my mum. And that's how I learned to know how to play all these funny chords, because I'd need to have to learn them. What was that song that the Beatles did with Tony Sheridan? The first Beatle record. Come on, help me, will you? Jesus Christ, my brain is dead here. It's addled. You know. But anyway, I used to learn how to play that one. But anyway, I learned how to play on one of these. Now, let me show you the correlation. Because I'm going to lose the thread here. Yeah, so Dad taught me how to play the ukulele, and he was into the guitar. And he learned. I think he was into Bert Wheaton and all those things, because at the time they didn't have YouTube. They only had Play in a Day. And you picked up what you could off your mates, you know, and that was it. But clearly, he didn't have, you know, he should have expanded his horizon somewhat, because he didn't have a career in music, did he? He ended up being, he did really well. My dad, head of division of British Telecom, don't you know? What? Oh, my Bonnie lies over the ocean. That was it. Yeah, thank you for that. So I'll tell you what, I'm getting this. My memory's going. Yeah, my Bonnie. I remember doing that, and I was embarrassed about doing that. My Bonnie lies over the... Until I realised the Beatles had done it with a fella called Tony Sheridan. But yeah, no, Dad used to play all that sort of... you know, he played some cool stuff. John Baez, he was into John Baez, and Streets of London, of course. That was the first thing that I remember him playing. And I thought, hang on, that's good. But he was good, me Dad, and he had a good ear, because he wrote this song when I was a kid called The Ballad of William Huskisson. I must have been about 6 or 7. And my brother Al and I, we loved him playing it, and it was only A minor, and we loved it that much that some years later we recorded it. You know, it didn't have a chorus, so he wrote a chorus for it. It was all about the first guy to be killed by a railway train, which is a true story. It happened in Liverpool. Where else? You know, a very famous politician called William Huskisson in 1830, and as the rocket was making its maiden voyage, William Huskisson, he noticed the king across the other side of the railway tracks and waved to him, went over to speak to him, and the bloody train hit him and killed him. So, you know, there we are. So, Dad, there used to be a statue of William Huskisson in Sefton Park, or Princess Park, one of the main parks in Liverpool. And we lived in Liverpool at the time, in a place called Hardman Street, just round the corner from, you know, the cavern, not far from the cavern, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And he on the plaque, it told the story of William Huskisson and how he died. And Dad being into folk music and all, he wrote this this song, I think with a friend of his, and we liked it that much that we sort of rejigged it and wrote a chorus for it some years later. Ballad of William Huskisson. So even though he never got into the music business himself, because he was too clever for that, he did make it somewhere down the line, because we did actually record it, and it is one of the most popular songs we play. In fact, when we play on December the 20th at the Floral Pavilion down the road here, we only do 1 gig a year now, because A, we're lazy, and B, we're lazy. We'll be playing it then, so if you're interested in coming to hear that particular song, you can. Right, before we finish, let's talk about this ukulele, alright, because otherwise I'll forget me thread of it. There's a correlation between this little 4-string instrument that you've just heard me tinkling along on and a guitar, and I'm going to demonstrate what it is now. Now, you heard me talking earlier about the cage system and all that stuff, right? Well, imagine that the guitar, well, don't imagine, I'm going to put a capo on the guitar at the 5th fret like this, okay? E. And now imagine that it's only got 4 strings. So these 2 strings now are missing. So you've only got them. Those 2 are gone. Now if I was going to play that shape there, you guitarists out there would say, well, that is a D. And then we'd have the conversation again, and we'd say, no, it isn't a D. It's the shape D, as we know, but it's only D when it lives there. You know, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. So it's the chord G, right? And when you pick up a ukulele, alright, and play this, that's how you will see a G written in a ukulele book. And all you guitarists there that didn't know that think, bloody hell, I never knew that. You know, can you see the difference? Now, if I was going to play the chord G on a guitar, as you can see, it's got a weighty thing in it. You know, now I'm playing the shape G, of course, but it's not G anymore, is it? Explain again for me, Rob. Well, it's G there. G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. So that's the chord C. When played there, it's the G shape as we know, but it's actually the chord C. So on a ukulele, if we're playing the ukulele, these 2 strings aren't on it. So if we played, so that would be our C, and that's how you see a C. An A minor shape that we know on a guitar here is the, or an E minor shape, sorry, is played like that, isn't it? 2 fingers. But it's not an E minor at that position. E minor, F minor, F sharp minor, G minor, G sharp minor, A minor on a ukulele. It's played like that. So, with that in mind, you can, well, if you can play a few guitar chords, then you can play this. Now, on one more little thing. Paul McCartney, he wrote this on, you know, so he would have been, he'd have capo at the 5th. Etc. On a uke, if we didn't have those 2 strings, we can play exactly the same thing, but I think it sounds really cool on this. Oops. Misha, my bed, these are words that go together well. My Misha, ma belle, son des mon qui va très bien ensemble. You know, it's the same thing. You could play that along with the Beatles. It sounds identical. We want to thank Anthony Ward for the donation. Thank you, Anthony. And there's W Dubs. Thank you for that donation. And CK, what's that one? Son of a beach. That's cool, Aaron. But cheers, thank you for that, folks. You're too kind. I'll have biscuits coming out of my ears. Remember this one? This is one of my favourites on a uke. What? Dead easy. Look at this. 1 finger, 2 fingers. I'd have bought the song just for that. I never thought I'd miss you half as much as I do. And I never thought I'd feel this way, the way I feel about you. As soon as I wake up, any night, any day, I know that you I need to chase the blues away. It must be love, love, love. It must be love, love, love. Nothing more, nothing less. Love is the best. great song. Do you remember this one? This is rare. This is a rare one. This is a McCartney classic, you know. Sam Carmen, my wife's, my son's wife, his mum, mentioned this. I thought, how could she know this song? Ram. Where's it go? Let me think of it. That's it. Do you know that? Give your heart to somebody soon, right away, right away. Raindrops keep falling on my head, just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed. Nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Oh, I'm never gonna stop the rain, I complaining. I've forgotten the words. Da dee da 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 da. Keep going, Rob. Keep going. They don't know. Da 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 da. Keep it going. Da 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 da. Made yourself. Anyway, right. Listen. We've had enough now, haven't we? Here she is. There she is. Oh, she's been. Oh, Lynn. Yeah, I'll come and say goodbye to the people.
Oh, I haven't finished yet.
Got a sweat on here. Sticky Fingers 58. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friends.
And then these 2 uke.
What's it, Tom? What size uke do you recommend? Just get one, like a little one, little tiny bugger. Now, if you've got fat fingers, don't worry about it. I've got fat fingers too. You can get bigger ones, but really, it sort of loses the charm of a small little ukulele. The great. What was this one here? You should do a lesson on the uke. I've done a couple of lessons on the uke. I did. I did Strawberry Fields, which is unusual on the uke. I did Michelle, but not many people have watched them, to be honest. Maybe because they don't know they're there. But if you look back, you know, you want to hear Strawberry Fields on the ukulele the way I've done it, and all the paperwork's there for it, and it's really, well, even though I see so myself, bloody good. Alright, go and have a listen to it. If you can't find it, get in touch with me and I'll send you the link. But it's there. Look for the link. Right, where is she? Come on, Auntie Lynn. Come on, miss. You've worked hard today. You've been up and down those bloody stairs. What's this here? So thank you for all the donations to the channel. The lovely Lynn here who's make sure everything works, all the buttons get pressed in the right thing. What are we going to do next time? Have we any idea? We don't know yet, do we? We'll think of something.
No.
Wednesday, what are we going to do? I don't even know what you want. What are we going to do on Wednesday? I tell you what, whoever makes the donation with the, I'll give you the choice. Your little laugh for us, love. So, yeah, just before we go, here's the thing. If I get another donation, right, for the tea fund, these are the ones we can do. Whichever one I get.
So far, Sound of Silence.
So Sound of Silence is winning.
Yours
Okay,
will win.
we got that one. We got Jack and Diane. All right, Jack and Diane. Whoever gets the most, I'll do next on. When I say next, I'm talking about Wednesday. All right, this Wednesday coming. We got Stephanie by Lindsay Buckingham. We got Life on Mars by the wonderful David Bowie. And we've got Prelude number 11 in D major by Mr. Tarrega, however you pronounce it. Alright, so you decide, it's up to you. Whoever votes the most, well, do it. Alright, so at the moment I think Sound of Silence is winning, but that's down to you as to whether or not you want one of the other ones. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. I want to thank you very, very much for the support you've given to the channel. It's very much appreciated. And remember, share everything that's on it. You know, all these, don't think, oh, you know, I can't share it to this. The whole idea of this channel is you download the stuff. I own it all because it's all my work. I handwrite it. It's all done by, you know, by myself. So you know, and I'm giving you my permission to share whatever you want. So all your friends, anyone who wants to learn to play do that. All I ask you is to let them know where I am. Just tell them, you know, where I am. If you're interested in any of the albums I've made or my back catalogue, or indeed who I am, because a lot of people say, who's this fella? Well, go and have a look. Either Google my name, Rob Fennah, and you'll find out a lot of stuff. Some of it's quite amusing. Or go onto my website, robfennah.com, and you'll see all the stuff I've done, back catalogue, all that sort of things. Some of it's interesting, you know. Some of it's quite amusing. The next live stream is on Saturday, the 7th of December, which happens to be my father's 90th birthday, don't you know? All right, and I'm going to be here. I'll dedicate a song for me dad on the set, because without him, I wouldn't be able to play the guitar. Don't tell him I said that. I like him to think it was all my own work. All right, but it wasn't. So mum and dad, I'm going to play that for my father on his birthday on the 7th of December. He's born on a weird. Yeah, thanks Ron. Thank you Ron for that donation there coming. It was also was it what happened on the 7th of December? Pearl Harbor. What a day to be born. Yeah, Pearl Harbor. You know. So I always remember that day for two different reasons. All right. So thoughts for both things. Right. What is it? Never forget. Okay, so thank you for your time. Thank you for your donations. The donations. I said donuts then. Fucking hell! It's time to go to bed. I'll see you on Wednesday. All right. So until then, should we do a little? You know, we can do it. We'll see you next. We'll see you next. Well, that's too much, that Lynn. Too much information. How do we turn this bugger off? Come on. Last time I did it, I was talking afterwards. End stream. And then exit. Right, I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye-bye. And then we press what?